Hello mga kapamilya all over the online world. Mommy Jing Castaneda po. Welcome sa atin pong live every night sa Kumustahan with Mommy Jing. Again, we do this so we are able to continue giving information, important, accurate information sa inyo pong lahat, lalong-lalo na po sa ating mga kapamilya, na mga mommies, mga daddies. Our objective is to help empower families with the right information so we're able to build stronger, diba? Stronger families, more loving families. O yun naman importante, diba? Importante po ang pamilya. At ngayon yan po ang ating napapatunayan dahil po dito sa COVID. So kahit na medyo mahirap ang krisis na kinaharap natin, dahil po kasama natin ang ating mga pamilya, kahit paano po gumagaan. Ito po ang atin pong pakiramdam, ang atin pong hamon, no, na kinahaharap. Of course, yung mga kapamilya natin, if you have a few minutes, if you can spare a few minutes, meron po akong pinost na petition sa atin pong Facebook page. It's the petition by my fellow employees ng ABS-CBN, for the government to finally allow ABS-CBN Channel 2 and DZMM our DZMM radio stations to operate again. So may mga nagko-comment po no dun sa ating pinost na ayusin niyo muna yung prangkisa ninyo. Hindi niyo nakukuha yan sa petition. Opo, naintindihan naman natin yun. No? There are legalities involved and inaayos naman po yun ng mga abogado ng ating pong kumpanya. Gayun pa man, syempre, maganda rin pong pakita yung suporta ng taong bayan sa atin pong ginagawa. Kaya naman po tayo may online petition po no na ipinamamahagi. So again, I posted it on my Facebook page. If you agree with us, if you believe that ABS-CBN should go on air again, please sign that petition. If you don't agree with us, okay lang po. We respect your opinion. Dito naman talaga sa ating demokrasya, basta respeto lang, di ba? Sa magalang lang tayo, sa isa't isa, yun na nga. No, we respect each other's opinion. So wag tayo, no bashing ha. Wala naman pong may dudulot na maganda, yung pagbabash. Well, if you weren't able to monitor yesterday, yun pong nag-post ng threat, no? Death threat kay Coco Martin, kay Kim Chu, kay Angel Locsin, sa amin pong presidente, no? Sa amin pong CEO na si Carlo Katigbak. At hinahamon pa niya kung sino man sa madlang people na pwedeng magpasabog ng ABS-CBN compound, ibibigyan daw niya ng 200 million pesos ba o 300 million pesos na pabuya. So, sumuko na po no yung tao na nag-post noon pong tweet na yon, although of course he was claiming hindi siya yon, ginamit na yung account niya. But just the same, that's an update no as far as the ABS-CBN franchise is concerned. On Tuesday, 9 in the morning, meron po tayong hearing ulit sa Kamara, sa Kongreso. So, of course, umaasa po tayo na maayos na po yun para po maka-ere na po tayo ulit. Ang sinasabi po ni nag-aayos ko ng habang on air. So, ang sabi po ni Speaker Alan Peter Cayetano, hintayin daw po na parang mga 3 months, no? Yung pinakamabilis na panahon para po ma-aproba kung sakali man ang atin pong 25-year franchise. So that means kung mag-June na di ba? So June 1, pagpalagay mo na, July, August, September ang pinakamaaga. Meron pa po silang recess. So anyway, we're asking for your prayers. Marami pong mga empleyado, 11,000 of us, no, yung madi-displace kapag tuluyan na pong hindi umere ang ABS-CBN. At nagsabi na po ang ating pong pinuno, si Carlo Katigbak, ang ating pong President and CEO, that we may be forced to lay off some workers no by June, by August, if we don't get back on air soon. So we need your prayers, mga kapamilya. We need your support. Marami pong mga nagbe-message sa akin na we believe in you, we're behind you. Please show your support. Yung mga nagtatanong, how can we help you? Ito po yung pinakamagandang paraan. Please sign this online petition. Okay? So, ngayong gabi, sabi ko nga sa post ko, no, due to insistent public demand, ayan, maraming natuwa doon sa ating pong pakikipagkwentuhan sa mga barber. Of course, we're able to get a glimpse of the sense of humor of Edward. Sabi ko si Edward, haba na ng buhok mo. Sabi niya, oo nga po Tita Jing, yung akin pong pangalan Edward Barber, pero wala pong barber sa pamilya. O, diba? Okay ba yung sense of humor ni Edward? Okay ba? Sabi ko, saan mo nakuha yung sense of humor na yan? Sabi niya sa daddy daw niya, si Daddy Kevin. So, alamin niya natin, totoo ba na si Daddy Kevin ay may magandang sense of humor? O, diba? As we had discussed with Daddy Kevin, we will do this regularly. We're hoping to do this every week. More than the stories on Edward, on Laura, on Maymay. Of course, our objective, and this is something both Daddy Kevin and I share, our desire to help in our small way, again, build stronger families. Mahirap po magpamilya ngayong mga panahon na to, hindi po madaling maging magulang. Of course, sasabihin ng iba, hindi rin madaling maging anak. Totoo din naman. So, hopefully, by talking about it in the course of the conversation, in the course of discussing openly the challenges confronting parents, families, children, we hope to be able to arrive at some answers. There's no one size fits all. There's no magic pill to bringing up our families. Of course, bottom line po doon, prayers, no? We always pray to the Lord to protect our families, to protect our children. They're not always with us. So, prayers talaga. And then in the end, we just hope, no, that we were able to bring them up the best way we can. So, Daddy Kevin has a daughter and a son. Ako po, I only have 3 daughters. Of course, I'm so happy and so proud of them. I'm so happy with them and so proud of them. Pero curious din po ako, mas mahirap kaya magpalaki ng lalaki kumpara sa babaeng anak? O, di ba? So mamaya yung aking husband, si Daddy Nonong, I asked him to join us also because he may have frustrations. O, nag-English na ako kasi naka-standby na sila Daddy Kevin. He may have frustrations about not having any son to go with him when he watches basketball games. Uso bang basketball sa England? Tanungan natin kay Daddy Kevin. Daddy Kevin, are you here? Hi, Daddy Kevin.
Yes, I am po. Good evening.
Hello! Oh, Daddy Kevin, kumusta ang pagtatagalog mo?
Not making very fast progress, but I did download the course. Okay, was that the right answer to the question?
Yes, galing mo talaga magtagalog. Oh,
Now
we'll
get there.
You greet our viewers first.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome from wet, windy, rainy Germany. I hope you're all safe. I hope you're taking care of yourselves. I hope you're doing all the things we have to do at this time. Because if we do those, we're all going to see each other again very, very soon. And I saw pictures today from a food, a feeding thing between Maywood supporters and the Elm Tree Foundation. And I saw all of the Filipinos. Saw all of the Filipinos there, and I don't just miss my daughter and my son and my wife. I miss the Philippines. So it's time to get back.
Oi, where was that feeding what project?
I think it was. It was. I think it was in Pasig.
When was this?
This was this morning.
Oh, okay. So can you tell us about that?
Maywood head admins and the Elm Tree Foundation managed to raise some funds, and I just got some pictures. That's it.
Okay.
Send you the pictures later.
Do you have any details about it? Like how are you guys able to do that? I don't think Mayward, Maymay and Edward were able to go out?
No, they weren't able to go out, and a lot of the admins weren't able to go out. But we have a big group of people supporting this whole fan side, the whole fandom, and there was somebody in the area, Malu. I think Malu, if you're listening, thank you very much for all you did. And yeah, I think there were 330 families got food parcels. So that's something that makes me feel a bit goosebumps.
Hey, that's so wonderful. So how were they able to, do you have any details? How were they able to put together whatever it is they
as I say, we took some of the funds from the Elm Tree Foundation, which generous people have supplied. We're not very active at the moment because we can't get out and do things. But we took some of those funds, and Maywood fans are generous people. They put money together as well. And this was all sent to one or two people, and the people in the area went out and they distributed in the families. And
wow.
I couldn't do that. My family couldn't do that. A lot of the supporters couldn't do that, but some people did. And that's going the extra mile. That really is going.
Yes. So congratulations to the M3 Foundation and to the Mayward. I know you have several subgroups within the Mayward fandom. Is there any particular chapter who's in charge of this?
If I say one, there's probably 75 that will be unhappy that I didn't say them. Just, to me, you're all amazing. So thank you for the work you did. And, we don't do this to look good. We do this to make sure that people have got what they need. And
yeah,
it's very frustrating for me sitting here thinking, I wish I could do something, but what can I do? Because I can't go. So that was the decision today. And again, thank you to everybody who was involved and went out and went into the community and did what you do best.
Okay. So again, congratulations and thank you to all of those who are involved in that. Was that a food pack distribution project?
Yeah.
Okay. So Daddy Kevin, I just do a very fast shout out. Mayan Sandawan, Eric Malyonga, Muna Hussein, Cheche Ko. Good evening, Daddy Kevin. Kyla, can you put Daddy Kevin's whole name there? Manaig Mish, Yayalani Ariban, Jeneline Obias, Danny Salunga. He was saying, napakahirap po bilang isang OFW dahil walang physical bonding sa anak ko, only sa social media. So, Daddy Kevin was telling them that, it's our advocacy to help strengthen families. And Danny Salunga is an OFW, so he was saying that it's very difficult to bring up children if you're an OFW because he doesn't have physical bonding with his children. And Precious Emerald Ann is saying, ako sana babae na lang anak ko, umalis ng anak kong lalaki. Ay, nako. So, nung nagka-girlfriend na. Oh, Daddy Kevin, Precious was saying that she prefers to have a daughter because she has a son and her son became pasaway since he started having a girlfriend. You know what pasaway means?
No.
Pasaway means hard-headed.
Okay. Pasaway sounded too much like passed away for me to want to comment.
Okay, good move.
I got worried.
And then Jane Bags, she's asking maybe next time Maymay can be the one also joining us. Estelita Clement, WP Pusil, Elaine Orgelies, Faye Guarin. Okay, we'll get back to them in a while. And so a while ago, Daddy Kevin is telling them you have a daughter and you have a son. But, from my end, I have 3 daughters. Is there is bringing up, are you a hands-on dad?
Depends.
How would you describe yourself as a father?
I certainly not at the moment, but no, I look back and I try not to regret because regret is a waste of time. And all the things that you do and you think you did wrong, they still helped you get to where you are now. So I don't want to regret, but one of my regrets is, if I have one, that I just worked too hard when they were young or spent too much time working when they were young, thinking that was the right thing to do. Maybe it was, looking for the security of the family. And I can remember one day lifting up Edward's pillow because he didn't clear his room, and You know, Laura would keep herself a place tidy, but boys don't keep things tidy. Boys never keep things tidy. And I tidied up his room one day and found out all my sort of BNI pins and badges and stuff, which he collected and put under his pillow. And I thought, I think I'm not a very good dad because I'm not there. I don't think Laura ever told me that, but she probably thought it.
Okay, so before we call in Laura, how would you describe yourself as a father then? If you were to gauge, like on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the hands-on dad, how would you assess yourself?
Hard one. I mean, hands-on, I never used to go to things with them because I didn't have the time. But I do like to think that, and certainly it's the situation now that we can talk about everything. So now, despite the distance, the way I see hands-on, yes. I mean, we talk about everything, we share everything. I see some people at that sort of age glad to get away from home and don't really want to talk to their parents. And I'm very, very lucky that my two do. And, you know, to me, I've never seen the point in, if a child makes a mistake, I've never seen the point in shouting and screaming and getting angry because it probably wasn't intentional. And the question then is, what do we learn from it? So I try and talk, and sometimes they both tell you I talk too much, and they listen and they listen. In the end, they just switch off because I'm talking all the time. Laura will probably tell you that now. But
Maybe,
I try to be.
Okay, so I guess the other question would be, because our children, of course, have their own stages in their lives, like toddlers, elementary years, high school years, teenage years, and then, of course, as professionals. Is there any particular stage which you feel is easier for you to relate to them?
I can remember when Laura was born and people talked about growing up and what's going to be ahead. And I heard the saying, little children, little problems, big children, different problems. And it all depends how you look at it. I can look at every stage of their development and be glad that it happened as it did. We never actually had the sort of puberty issues, the sort of horrible talking back and screaming issues that some people seem to get. So I've been very blessed with my two, but the time at the moment, to be honest, is a fascinating time for me, if I can still consider them young people, because I am learning so much from both of them. Because I've now, first of all, we have the distance, so I have to listen because I can't see them. I can't talk to them without picking up the phone, but we chat a lot. And I'm learning so much from them, and they've reached an age, but I've also realized that they've reached an age where in many cases they know more than I do. When you bring up kids all the time, you think you know more than they do.
Yes.
And we don't. We even mid-teens, even early teens, we don't know everything. We know less than we used to. So I've enjoyed every phase.
Okay,
this one's a challenge. This one's a challenge at the moment.
Because of the physical distance, yeah. Okay, so before we call in Laura, my own husband, Daddy Nonong, is joining us, Kevin. He'd like to also share, I don't know if his frustrations, that he doesn't have a son to bring with him to a basketball game. Or that, this one I know for sure, over the dining table, all of us girls are so talkative. It's very difficult for him to get in a word or two. So, Nonong, if you want to share your frustrations with Kevin, go ahead. I give you permission.
This is our therapy session, Nonong.
Hello.
You know what kakampi? You know what kakampi means?
No.
Kevin, he now has somebody on his side. And
Yeah,
that's
teammate. Hello, everybody.
Public therapy.
Public therapy. Okay,
Well,
so
Jing had to twist my arm before coming here, so I'm not just kidding. I'm happy to be here.
Good to see you.
So Kevin was saying that it's more difficult for him, of course, to do bonding activities with his children now with Laura and Edward. But I was asking him if he can choose a phase, a stage in the father and the children life cycle, or which one would he choose? And Well, you didn't answer my question, Kevin.
I I think this one at the moment is probably one of the best because it's simply really, really interesting and they have so much more to contribute. Of course, when I was able to go out to the football with my son, that was nice. When I was able to see Laura standing on stage doing something the first time, whether it's ballet or whatever it is, when you see them progressing and doing
Mm.
something that you never thought you would do, that's nice too. But no, this one's good. This one's really good because I learn a lot from them.
Well, actually, listening to Kevin reminds me so much of my dad. I think it's a generational thing where I don't know, and it's interesting because Kevin is of a different nationality, but I think
Mm.
there's a generation of fathers where the roles were purely as financial providers, and the women take care of growing or taking care of the children to grow up. So when I grew up, my father was pretty much that in that situation where he'd come home late and the only thing that he really contributed was the more on the financial part of this. It's not that he was not available or you couldn't approach him. It's just that that was their arrangement with my mom. But as we grew older, I believe when we were in high school and going forward, we were able to catch up. Okay, we were able to catch up, and for me, that was one of the things that probably was my choice during our um, building a family, where I made the conscious decision of being more present and being a more maybe quote unquote modern dad, okay, to be able to be there. And that's where I think the choices of becoming an entrepreneur, being able to manage your own time. When I was working, I saw a lot of entrepreneur fathers or family, and that was one of the advantages, okay, of having that they can, they can supposedly let go of their work so they can attend graduations and so on and so forth, or attend to school. And maybe it's a very unique situation between my wife and I, that she was the professional, or she is still a professional, working for a network, and such that I actually became more of a house dad because I needed to fill in during the times that she couldn't, because it's different when you're working for somebody, right?
Yeah, yeah.
But I think the difference, of course, I think the topic today is, raising daughters. I think
Versus sons.
versus sons. But I grew up; we were all boys. Okay, so I
How
didn't
about
know
you,
anything
Kevin?
about.
How many siblings do you have, Kevin?
I'm an only child actually. They took one look at me.
Oh.
They took one look at me and they said no more.
That's
Um,
enough.
no, it wasn't planned that way. It just happened that way.
On
Okay,
on
okay.
my part, we were all boys. So
Hmm.
you can imagine a rowdy household,
Yeah, yeah.
always sweating. My mom would always shout because our socks are everywhere, and it's very different, raising raising girls.
Yeah.
I always tell this to Jing, I'm outnumbered in this household. Even our pets are women, such that I've learned how to pee sitting down. See, that's how
Honey, can we
influential.
please keep that out of the discussion?
No, 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 no. I'm
I
I'm
don't think
Is
they're
this,
interested to
is this
find out.
rated?
I'm all in favour of continuing along this road.
No, but I
But
think
no, no.
I've
You
always
had. Sorry, carry on.
no. It's a joke actually.
Mm,
Where the etiquette when you're surrounded by women, choice of words sometimes, because you could be rough with boys,
mm.
right? You could be, the I think it's different, and of course I'm not an expert to say that because I never had boys, and having for me, I just want to declare that having daughters, they're really sweet. I just have to say, maybe I'm lucky. Laura, you better get ready. But no, my daughters are very sweet, and I think it's It's because I grew up in a very boyish environment.
Yes.
Before when we had dinner, you had to be first because nobody would leave you food. But if you
Yeah.
have daughters, for sure there's gonna be food shared equally, or they'd even cook it for you. Us, no, you're late, you don't get anything to eat. You have to fight to eat. Something like that.
But I don't know if Edward is like that. Kevin, is it something? Is it the way children are brought up, or is that really just the way boys are?
I think Nonong, you grew up in a group of boys, and you're looking after a group of girls. So the
Yeah.
contrast can't be any bigger. Yeah. I grew up by myself, and I've got one of each. So you can see the difference between the two very, very quickly. I can see the sort of being left out feeling, the being different now, because when I go to Manila, suddenly everybody's talking Tagalog. That wasn't the case when I was here. It was my wife that used to feel left out because we were all speaking English, or more
I
English.
can relate. It's pretty much 4 or 5 conversations in a table, and like they all understand each other, and you're lost.
Yeah, yes, yeah.
It's
But
in
I mean,
Tagalog or English that I understand. I think I can relate. You coming to the Philippines and not understanding. Women can talk,
well,
and they
yeah.
talked about something else, and then insert something, and then connect to another one, and they all understand each other. That
Anyway,
way.
I think the question was, does Edward take all the food? Was that basically it?
Yes.
No, I don't. No, he doesn't. But he's often occupied in doing something, so it's just gone. So it's not. It's not a question of I'm going to take this before you. It's a question if you're not quick enough, it might just have happened already without really intending it.
Mm-hmm. But you have some fans asking for a shout out, Kevin. So I'll read this first before
Okay.
calling in Laura. So there's Nina Kagagawan, Erica Sapuan, Jane Manayan from Camarines Sur, Say Bags from Brunei, Lourdes Espelida, Mommy Rose is watching, Ikaw Elena, Evelyn Lariosa, watching from Central America. Can you believe that, Kevin? She's a Mayward
Wow.
fan.
Wow.
And who else? Annabelle Villarante. Uh, Jane Bags is saying, Maymay and Edward, ang babait. They're very nice children. Dapat tularan. They should be a good example. They should, people should, or children should emulate them. Ronnie Ong is watching. Josefa Cabreta from Imos Cavite, Mean Sandawon. I love the topic. That's what she's saying. Ellie Woods. Um, Hi to Daddy Kevin and Daddy Nono. What a wonderful topic about kids. Great example to both of you daddies. Stay safe and healthy. Okay. So if you have questions, if you want to share your stories, please message us. In the meantime, let's call in the only I don't want to call her a teenager, the only young professional among us. Hi, Laura.
Hi, how are you?
Hey, I know
Hey.
you.
Laura, hello. We miss you, Laura. It's been months.
I know it's been so long.
So are you cooped up in your condo unit all this time?
Yeah, it's for me it's strange because we don't really have so many high-rise like condo buildings where I'm originally from. Like we lived in a townhouse in a tiny village. So like where dad is now, it's very easy to go around, and even if it's just to the park and to the forest, like here I'm just trapped and it's very different for me.
So
Yeah.
how are your lessons coming along? So were you forced to reschedule them, or you're doing online?
Lessons.
No, she doesn't go to school anymore. She's done, Jing.
No, but she used to have voice lessons, right?
Oh yes, yeah. No, we did.
Oh, yeah, that I don't do that anymore because it's a bit awkward because my brother and my mom live like right behind this wall. So for me to start blasting my voice out would be very
Okay, okay. So I don't know if you heard Kevin a while ago, but he was talking about you always tidying up your things growing up, compared to Edward, who's just like leaving his things lying around. Was there any particular difference with the way your parents treated you versus the way they treated Edward?
So, Kevin, you have to listen, okay? Don't react first.
I'm trying to think, but really, no. It was almost as if Edward was another girl.
Oh, so is that good or bad?
No, I'm just messing with you, but no, I think it's
I think we need a conversation after this.
So
No,
were there a different management style? I mean, if you have a boy and a girl, would you treat a boy differently? I can't relate, but
You know,
Yeah.
you know, you know. It's wonderful that we can come on and talk about this subject. But there's like 4 billion males and 4 billion females in the world, and I got one of them, and now I'm the expert compared to you. So I didn't read any books, I didn't go to any classes, I didn't Google how to be a dad, and I think I got so much wrong. But what's right? I mean, who knows what's right? To me, as long as I've got two children who actually enjoy my company and ask, can you come out again and can we talk? Then I'm good with that, because I think that's probably as much as you can hope these days. Huh? I don't think we did. I mean, I had 3 years with Laura before Edward came along. That's where there's a difference. We had that closeness when it was only the two of us, huh? And that never makes it easy for the boy coming second, I think, because girls
I
are.
always agree that you learn from your firstborn, right? Such that when you have the second and the third, you're a more expert parent. That's the truth. I think it's really true.
Well, I think it has to be that way because you just have the experience.
Yes,
Whether you get
exactly.
it right second time, I don't know.
No, the reason why I asked that of Laura and Kevin is because in the Philippines, daughters are treated differently from sons. Parents tend to be more strict with daughters than with sons in terms of curfews, in terms of um, well, you mentioned it a while ago, Kevin, in terms of the way uh, they clean up. So if you have a son and you parents kind of say, okay, it's okay that you have all those, you don't fix up your things, etc. But when it comes to women, we're always said, daughters are always told to, okay, clean up, learn how to cook, learn how to clean the house, etc. Of course, I don't know if it's a cultural thing. So that's why I was curious with Laura if what kind of
Yeah.
an
So
environment
to follow up on
did you
that, Laura, did you feel that there was a difference in terms of treatment or rules because simply you're a girl and you had a brother, given a context that you lived abroad?
I think that like I really wish that there was a difference so that I would have more to say about it, but I just don't think that there really was. But I mean, maybe the only thing is that because I'm a girl, obviously it's a bit more dangerous for a girl to go out by herself than like for a boy. That would be, I think, the main thing that I can think of. Like whenever there was an event at school or something and it went into the nighttime, my dad would always pick me up no matter how late it was, just because he didn't want me to walk home in the dark. But I think, I mean, Edward never really got like to that point where there were events in the dark because he came here when he was 15. But like with me, it was whenever there was an after school thing that went late, my dad would always pick me up no matter
So
what time
assuming
it was.
Edward stayed there, you think he'd probably go home alone or ride with
I mean,
anybody else?
no, I mean, I know that a lot of my classmates who were male like did go home, but we lived a bit far from school, so it was kind of difficult to make the commute. We lived like 45 kilometers from school, so
You couldn't exactly walk home or get the bus home.
yeah, no, you couldn't.
Towards the end, it was okay. There's a party on New Year's Eve. Can you pick me up at 4 a.m? So, okay, we'll do that. And
Yeah.
to me, the vulnerability of girls is the difference, because in theory they are in more danger outside than boys are. And in my situation, my son was 3 years younger, so he hadn't actually got to the point where he was big and strong and could fight everybody else by the time we left. But even now, the thought of Laura, even more than Edward, walking around by herself scares me. Scares me. It always scares me.
Do you have any, when you raised them, Kevin, were you conscious of any male-female stereotypes? Because in the Philippines, the stereotype is that daddies, so in that case, the sons, should be raised in such a way wherein they're the ones who will provide for the family. And the daughters, well, especially for the old-fashioned families, it's okay if they just stay at home, they don't work, and they just take care of the children. Of course, that's a task, a career by itself. But in terms of demands to make money, there's not much expectations as far as daughters are concerned.
Yeah, we didn't have that situation, and obviously we do live in a country where it is a lot more usual for girls to go out and work. There's a lot more working moms or a lot less people with children. And in this part of the world, people have less children. If you have no children or less children, it's easier to go out to work. And Laura was always good at school. I mean, Laura was right from the start with it.
Yes, woo!
No, she was. I mean,
I'm a Laura fan. Go, Laura.
No, I mean, first of all, I mean, I don't know whether Edward will agree with me. He's a bit too young, but girls are quicker. They learn quicker. They become more independent. Yeah, they're stronger at an earlier age than boys are. We just have to get to my age, and I don't know whether Nonong would agree. Get to our age to admit it, but girls do develop more quickly. And Laura was she was always going to do okay, and she was going to go through school, and she was going to pass, and I think she was always going to go to college, go to university. It was when she said she wanted to go to university in the UK and leave home that my heart started to break a little bit, because letting
Laura,
her go.
your dad's confessing here, huh?
Letting her go to another country.
I already know this.
that was the hard bit, and it wasn't the fact that education is free in Germany and not in England. It was just I didn't want her to go. Unfortunately, she was very close to my dad, which was, I think Laura, to be honest, is the reason my dad is still alive. Because my mom died just after PBB started, and Laura was very, very close physically distant to my dad. And I don't think he'd have made it if she hadn't been there. So, thanks, love. Good job.
You're welcome. Got you.
Yeah. I owe you.
Is there anything, Laura? Growing up with just one sibling, Edward, of course, and you have a brother, you don't have a sister. Do you have moments where you wished you had a sister, or is your relationship such that you can share whatever? Like Kevin was saying a while ago, was teasing, or no, it was you. You were saying that it was like you were growing up with a sister.
Yeah, me. I definitely wish now that there was a third one. Look, I mean, for the longest time, I was like, if I have children, I just want two. And now I've come to the decision that if I have children, which I hope that I will someday, I want three, because what I realize is, like, with children, they always fight, right? With siblings, they always fight. Like, there's always going to be a situation in which you fight. And what I realized is, if you fight with one, if there's a third one, you have like a backup, right? So like, and when we fight, it's like, it's a shame, because when you tell, your sibling is like your best friend, right? And you want to tell what happened to your sibling, and if you're like not talking or whatever, it's just nicer to have a third one, right?
So you don't have a kakampi, no tiebreaker.
Right.
Yeah, so they both used to run to me and said, Laura did this and Edward did this. Yeah.
Oh, you have to tell them the story of where I told you.
What was it? You complained that Edward kicked you or tripped you.
Yeah. So what was the story again? I was like, Dad.
How old were you? How old were you then? And Edward, how old was he?
I don't know.
I guess it
It's
was
like-
probably something like 8 and 5. Laura was probably around 8. Edward was 5, something like that.
Okay.
It might have been 9 and 6.
Okay,
And Laura was, Edward was in a position to bring Laura to tears. There's no question of that. She could do the same to him, but he was the one who could bring her to tears. Kicking her up, inching her or something. Just little bits of naughtiness. And she came to me once and she said, Dad, Edward tripped me. Edward, come here. Edward, did you trip Laura? No, Dad. But Laura said you did. No, Dad, I didn't. Edward, are you sure? Yes, Dad, I didn't trip her. I kicked her.
So what did you do, Kevin? What did you do?
His use of English was pretty good by then already. I don't know. I mean, my way of dealing with all problems, whether it's family problems or work problems or anything, is sit down, talk. What do you feel about this? How did you see it? Why did you do it? Did you actually do it?
I thought
What's
Kevin
the point of screaming and shouting? It doesn't help. What did you learn from this?
Your mom.
Sorry?
I thought you'd say talk to your mom.
I think they normally talk to their mom before they came to me. I was the sort of last resort.
So do you force them to apologize to each other, to say sorry?
Oh my goodness. So
Okay.
Laura,
Go ahead, Laura.
that was always that one. When you have like a vengeance, it always makes you lose the vengeance. So even when I wasn't really bullied, I was never really bullied in school, but there was a girl, I won't mention her name, but there was a girl who was always a bit mean to me in school. And once we were praying, I must have been 6 or 7 years old, and I remember this so clearly. I remember that we were sitting there and we were praying. Dad was praying with us, and he goes, and what was it? And Lord, please look after everyone in the world, bless everyone in the world. And I go, except that girl. And Dad goes, no, now you pray for that girl.
Oh. How old were you then? 6 years old?
Yeah, I must have been around 6. I remember it so clearly.
So did you?
Yes.
At least,
Daddy.
Yeah, hats off to you, Kevin.
I think one of the few arguments that Laura and I really had was, she said, it was when you were old enough, yeah? She said, I really hate that person. I said, Laura, don't hate. I mean, honestly, Jing, no. Do you hate anybody? Do you know anybody that you hate? No, I don't hate anybody. I seriously dislike quite a lot of people.
Okay, so can we mute Kevin's mic? No, just kidding.
No, don't do hate. It's a waste of time, waste of energy.
That's true.
No.
So in bringing them up, Kevin, there are certain things that, as you said, there would be stereotypes, basically because daughters are more vulnerable. But other than that, in terms of values, etc., you basically brought them up, the same way.
Yeah, I think the family situation had a lot to do with that. Laura was 4.5 months the first time she flew to Manila. Edward was 4.5 months the first time he flew to Manila, 3 years after that. So they were always used to leaving school. When they were very young at school, they were out of school a couple of weeks early at Christmas, when it was still okay to do that, go to the Philippines, and they took in the Philippine culture. We were in La Union a lot of the time. And when they came back from the Philippines, they'd always grown. They'd always grown because they were realizing the way the world works and the way they're lucky and the way they're not so lucky, because maybe the Philippines family culture is a lot stronger than it is here. So they were realizing the differences. And because of that, I think those experiences had a big effect on both of them. And, the value of what we do now through Elm, the caring for people, is not because we feel sorry. It's just we want to have these people have better lives, because people who have better lives can be more successful in the future.
I have a question.
So, yes, sir.
Because it's a father-daughter thing, and because you only have one daughter, would you say she was a daddy's girl? And Laura, would you even admit that you were a daddy's girl?
Wait, are you gonna go first, Dad?
No, you can go first if you want. I know what I'm going to say, whatever you say. I'll write it down.
Laura's a Lola's girl.
You know what? I feel like it's the same with friends. I feel like my parents serve different purposes. So in one situation, I might be a daddy's girl, but and then in another situation, I might be a mom's girl. Like, I don't think that I'm like closer to one than the other. I just think the relationship is very different. Yeah. And so, for example, if I need career advice or something like that, I'll go to Dad. Whereas if I want to bake something, I'll do it with Mom. You know, so it's different.
It's a fairly typical traditional separation of roles. Yeah. You won't come to me if you want to bake something. Okay. I just left yesterday. I learned how to cook sweet corn. Okay.
Well, so I don't want to go shopping with Dad.
You have done. You had
to buy you things.
And I wanted to buy you stuff in Barcelona, and you didn't want to buy it. See?
Oh yeah.
So, Kevin, you never went shopping or bought clothes with Laura?
Yes, I did, but not very often. I would have done it a lot more, but she didn't really appreciate the advice I was giving and the amount of time I was willing to invest.
Because you have a different taste when it comes to clothes, Kevin. She doesn't like your taste in clothes.
It wasn't. I think it wasn't. Sorry, say again.
Because this is interesting because Jing is very busy at work. There were several times. Of course, Jing brings them out. I do shop, I do shop for my daughters, and one of the pet peeves I have is really buying feminine stuff for my daughter, especially when I really grew up in an all boy environment. Just imagine me lining up with all these feminine
underwear
things, and it was really difficult initially, but then later on it's like, so what,
Nonong was asking, what's the difference between a sanitary napkin with wings, without wings?
I got confused. It blew my mind. There was so many choices, and then
no, we have to talk.
Kevin?
We have to
Can
talk.
you relate?
Well, no, I can't relate to the wings thing. No.
Okay, so Laura, which areas would which decisions would you go to Daddy Kevin for?
It's just that Mom is just very. So when I had my first heartbreak, I definitely went to Dad, which is a weird, but it's because Mom doesn't like to Mom's the kind of person, like, when she sees me upset, it really makes her upset, because she's like, anyone who hurts my child, like, I'll destroy them. She's that kind of person. Whereas Dad's like, okay, let's see it from both sides here. So he sees it from the perspective of the boy. And when you get heartbroken, you don't always want to, you want an excuse to go back together with that boy. And my mom will be like, no, ditch him, blah, 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 like that kind of thing. And Dad's like, okay, let's see it from both sides. And sometimes you want to be able to see it from both sides, So,
but maybe that wasn't the reason you came to me. You wanted to see it from your side, yeah? So I can remember there was one time when Laura's former boyfriend, whatever, the boy had disappointed her, maybe. And she wasn't
When was
this,
Kevin? When was this?
This was just before she went to university, I think. So about 4 years ago, something like 4 or 5 years ago. I mean, she was old enough to have a boyfriend, and Mom said, "Oh no, you're not going to see him again. No." And Laura comes to me and said, "Mom, I can't see him again." So we talk, and I didn't know she was going to see him again. And then she went off to a place called Karlsruhe, which is where she was at school, to see her friends. And she asked us to collect her at the station. So we collect her at the station, and we see the train from Karlsruhe comes in. And the train from Heidelberg, which is from the other direction, came in. And instead of getting off the train that came from Karlsruhe, where she was with her friends, she got off the train that came in the other direction, thinking that I hadn't noticed that she got off that train. And I think I should have probably waited a bit longer before I exposed the truth, because we probably got away with it. Didn't you just come in from Heidelberg? What were you doing in Heidelberg? Your friends are in Heidelberg. No, but your boyfriend is. Ha ha. Sorry, Laura, we didn't discuss that one before this.
So what did you do?
I forgot that.
Well, I mean,
you know what?
It's okay. I mean, I maybe I have an issue if you're telling lies, but if you just didn't say anything at all, then so what? You know, why not?
Oh, I definitely lied.
Well, I think most people do at some point, don't they? The thing then is, do you learn anything from it? You know, does it work, and do you learn anything from it? As long as you learn something from your mistakes, that's fine. You know?
I think the difference between like my parents and not even just like Filipino parents, like not at all. I think it's just other parents. Because like my friends, like even in the UK, they hide things from their parents. They hide their relationships from their parents. I don't know. I think their parents are stricter, but my parents are just really chill.
Wow. Wow, it's so nice to hear.
Thank you. It was very nice being on the show. Thank you very much. I'm off.
Still on the outside, but I wonder what's inside.
No, I definitely mean that, because like I was allowed to do anything I wanted growing up. So I never did anything bad. You know, I never had a reason to rebel, because they never, you know, even with bad things, like I don't know, like even as a 15-year-old, there were people, you know, smoking, for example, and my mom was always
really
like
evil stuff. Yeah.
No, I just okay, maybe
doing drugs, drinking.
Yeah, okay, fine. There were people doing things like that, right? And my mom was like, right, if you want to do drugs, you do drugs with me, and then we'll, you know. So she was kidding, but like because I never had the restrictions, I never did it. I never had any reason to try any of that. I never smoked anything. So I think that's what makes my parents special.
Yeah, the openness, really. It's very true.
Well,
it's very true.
I think that's...
Yeah, so I never... Sorry.
Okay, wait a minute. There's just... We just need to hear some of the shout-outs. Faye Guarin, ha ha ha, Laura, you're so funny. I love Laura. Mayan Sandawan, I can relate to Laura. There are a lot of people who can relate with you, Laura. Evelyn Lariosa, I'm going to give a shout-out to Mommy Kathy Barber, Daddy Kevin, for the wonderful upbringing to Laura. And Dodong. Dodong is Edward?
It seems so, yes.
Okay, there. Dodong and Laura. Annalie Carollo, God bless Barber's family. Janet Simafranca, hello to the Barber family. Veronica Bermejo, shout out to the Barber family. And okay, Mayward Flyers, ang bait namang daddy ni Daddy Kevin. Muna Hussein, ayan. Hi to Laura.
Hi, Muna. Muna's my friend.
Okay, Nina Kagawan, ayan, shout out. Andrea Labitoria, hi Daddy Kevin, watching from HK, from Hong Kong. Kevin.
Very nice.
Ruelma Hernandez from Muntinlupa. Jessa Rabago, Azale MW Mayward. So good evening, Daddy Kevin. Connie Alunan, watching from Angono, Rizal. Ruelma Hernandez. Okay, so a while ago, Kevin, you were saying that there are times, you know, there's certain instances when you would rather go with Edward, and there's certain instances when you'd rather be with Laura. So which areas would this be?
Interesting question.
It sounds like you have something to say on that, Laura.
No, I just don't know what's coming here.
No, I mean, I missed out on a lot of Edward's early years because I started my business just at, you know, when Edward was at that sort of age, and I missed out on certain things. I didn't go to his football, and because I didn't have time, and I did have time, I didn't put it right at the top of my list. Yeah. thinking it probably wasn't going to worry him anyway, but knowing after PBB when he cried about it, or that the emotion came out in the house that he did wish I'd done that. So I missed out on things like that. And when we had the chance to start going to the football together, going to football matches together, that was good. We went on the Saturday afternoon and we jumped up and down and we screamed and we danced and we cried together about the football. I love that. And I liked everything that I saw once PBB happened. I liked to be involved in that with him and just be there. And the interesting thing I see now is, I sometimes, last year I would fly to Manila and I'd arrive and I'd expect this whole family to be like dancing up and down that Dad is here. And you sit on the sofa and they go, oh, hi, you're here. And you think, oh, do they actually need me? And in fact, it's just the fact that you're actually there. It's the fact that you're there in the morning and you're there in the evening. You don't actually have to be doing anything anymore. It's just
the presence
there again, yeah. And it's reassuring. I'm here now. I think it's 75 days alone, and having that somebody there, just there, makes a difference sometimes. Huh?
Are there hobbies you share with Laura?
No. I mean, I was always dreaming that everybody was going to want to play golf because I love playing golf. Most of it's just in my head. But, we tried and they had a few lessons, but it never really...
They even named me after 2 golfers. That's how hard they wanted it to work. Like,
huh? Sorry, I'm not into golf. So who?
Well, I mean, 23 years ago, the number 1 player in the world, I think, was a lady called Laura Davis.
Oh, yeah.
The number 2 player in the world was a girl called Annika Sorenstam. And... you start playing around with names. We had friends who were professional golfers. You start playing around. And somebody said, one of my friends said, why do you call her Laura? I said, you can't call her Laura because everybody will think it's after this famous golfer. What about Annika then? And you play around with names for so long that after 9 months, you can't get any other names out of your head. So we called her Laura Annika. And yeah, I mean, we like the name, but it sounds a bit silly when you tell the story now.
Unfortunately, calling her Laura does not make her play golf. So sorry.
No, not yet. Never say never.
Never say never. Okay, so when it comes to, if you need advice, Kevin, would you go to Laura or would you go to Edward? If you have a heartbreak, if you were disappointed, if you're so sad,
we're turning this one around now, yeah?
Or to Edward?
I think at the moment I would probably go to Laura.
Yeah, great.
Because we've had more heartbreak discussions in the other direction, so it's like my turn. But that is also at the moment because it's a lot easier for me to talk to Laura than it's for Edward to talk to Edward.
Why?
Edward has a very full life. Laura would like to have a slightly more fuller life, but at the moment that's not what she has. And we talk every day. I mean, she keeps me going because Laura messages me every single day in one way or another.
Oh, that's so sweet, Laura.
I think a couple of days ago we spoke. I told her to. Okay, that's no, but I mean, I think 2 days ago or 2 or 3 days ago we had a call for about 2 hours in the evening, and we have things like what's happening with the current situation in the world. We talk a lot about that, and I could just as easily talk with Edward about that. But Edward has slightly less availability because he tends to work all so late, and you never know whether he's on some Facebook Live or Mix or something. So I'm always worried that I'm butting in. Laura's kept me going the last few weeks.
But which topics would you be more comfortable talking to Edward about?
Work, showbiz, obviously, his situation, all the sport things, all the normal man things, yeah. At the moment, the financial side, how are we taking care of the family financially? Because the two of us are earning enough to take responsibility for that. And it's also a man's role. It might also be a woman's role, but it's definitely a man's role.
Okay.
And so talking about that, I'd feel comfortable talking to both of them because I'm very proud of how they look after their money. I mean, Laura is so. You want to know my favorite Filipino word?
What?
Kuripot. Yeah. Laura will turn the coin over 3 or 4 times before she spends it.
Good job, Laura.
we're working on a project together at the moment, and I was trying to persuade her to do something which would cost money, because I think you can do it much more quickly and professionally if somebody comes along and helps you, but that would cost money. Gosh, it took us 3 or 4 weeks before she agreed to spend the money. So I'm very proud of her because of that.
Yeah.
I'm also very proud of Edward because he's not quite so curry-pot, and he understands that maybe you sometimes have to invest. So, there's always both ways of looking at these things.
Okay.
And I think if I wanted painting advice, I would go to Laura, because Laura's turning into a bit of a talented artist.
Wow.
This is not true. I'm learning what paint is at this point.
Okay, but the two behind you did, right? It might have been painting by numbers, but you still did them, yeah?
I did that small one.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Okay. The thing is, nowadays you never know whether they're conning you or not because they're smart enough.
So do you have long before I ask my question? Go ahead.
No, I'm
Right. We just had a side conversation. I just said so many heartbreaks. So question mark.
Laura, so many heartbreaks. Would you rather talk to? So you were talking about going to both of them, right? But in terms of topics as well, are there
No, but-
topics you prefer to talk to your dad about instead of your mom, and vice versa?
Yeah, I mean, like definitely more on like career and stuff like that. Because obviously, like I've been here, on 1.5 years now, and so it's always a question of, do I stay? And so that sort of thing I talk to dad about, because for mom, it's not easy for her to hear. So that's something that I usually don't bring up in front of her. So either I bring it up with like my friends from back home or dad. So those kind of questions.
So she
A lot
comes
of
to me with this.
existential.
She comes to me with this deep question, and I'm so proud that she's asking me. And after I've answered, she says, "Well, Alicia says this, and he says this, and he says."
Sorry.
So have I confirmed them or have I not confirmed them?
You're actually the 10th person she asked that. 10th.
But that's also good, right? That's also good.
So what are the types of conversations you have with your mom?
My conversations with mom are a lot more carefree. I feel like I have deeper conversations with dad. Like the ones with mom, it's more like, I watched this
Day-to-day.
video, I
Yeah.
watched this meme, like this is funny, that sort of thing. And also because dad's not here right now, he doesn't get like the little small talk, So whenever like we talk, it's like it's a bigger
Serious.
conversation. So there's like a lot more that goes into it. And with mom, like, because I see her like all the time, especially now during lockdown, it's like more small talk. So yeah.
So
Yeah, they can
which-
both laugh loud.
Daddy
When
Kevin.
they're watching TV, they can both laugh very loud.
Yeah, mom and I share the same sense of humor in many ways.
Oh, okay. Good.
Yeah.
Because I know your dad's sense of humor. And it's not good. Do you have a question, Nong? Before
Yeah,
I shoot my
because
question.
my children are still young, so, and I've always thought of it as it's heaven when you're taking care of girls until they reach 18, meaning when the boys start coming in, or maybe 16. So my question to you, Kevin, is that how did it feel that your daughter's heart is broken because of a guy? Then maybe you were cool, and then later I'm gonna kill this bloke. So can you
I have
share
a
some
story.
tips to a young dad? How did you approach it? And maybe Laura.
No, I have a story.
Okay, so
Go.
Kevin,
Tell
Laura
us.
has a story, so
Laura goes
Laura
first.
first.
Okay.
I mean, mom is very much like behind the scenes. I'm gonna kill this boy. Like, just she gets very angry.
Protective.
Yeah, protective. Like she gets angry like in her head, So she just like she holds a grudge, and she's a bit more like that. She's a bit more
It's
protective
very
in
black
that
and
way.
white, isn't it?
Yeah, it's very black and white. Dad's very like diplomatic about the situation.
Mhm.
So there
Gosh,
was
that
one
makes me
event.
sound boring.
No, okay. So there was this one instance where this boy had like, oh, he'd broken my heart. He said he was going to do something and then he didn't. And dad goes and he emails him.
Oh no! So you know the email address, Kevin? Wow. Okay.
Well,
I mean,
sure, I told
Wait,
him.
wait, wait. Let her finish. What was the email about?
Okay,
No,
go,
so
go, Laura.
it's nothing dramatic. He's just very diplomatic about it. He's just like, I just want you to think very carefully about this, about the decision that you're making. So it was very like,
So he didn't call. He emailed.
Okay, Jing.
don't think he called.
I knew this. I knew this guy. You know, he used to be in the same class. He was in the same class
Right.
for 2 years as a classmate. I knew him.
Hmm.
And the coolest thing was, his dad supported the same football team in England as my dad. So we were like this. He's the one. He's the one because he supports the same football team as I do. And so
Mm.
I knew him, and we you know, we got on well with him. We liked him. But of course, it goes up and down and up and down. And that was one of these downs, I think.
Yeah, dad's a bit more like, like, you know, mom gets very like boiled up about the situation, like, oh my god, Laura's like heartbroken. Dad's like, we'll go up and down, like, you know, it's okay, we'll pass.
You know, Laura, if I knew the boy who was courting you, it's so easy to get your dad. You know,
Mhm.
he just has to wear the jersey of the football team, and
Right.
he okay.
Well, yeah, but he shouldn't be sort of rude, alcoholic, smoking, full of, you know. This guy was okay. He was all right. I liked him.
So what were your rules, Kevin, as far as courtship is concerned?
No, we didn't have any.
You didn't have any?
I don't
Like,
think we did. I mean, I
so-
think the thing, if I had to think of a rule, it would be, no, you're not staying, you're coming home, and I will get you whatever time before you have to stay. And to be honest, that was fine with Laura. I think there were times when she just wanted to come, I don't know, after a party at school or something like that.
So
She was just happy to come home.
You cannot have a boyfriend until you're this age.
Nah. I mean,
When
in
was
fact,
your-
they were the ones pushing me. I remember being 16 and this boy like wrote me this massive letter for my 16th birthday. And I was like, oh my goodness, you know, I'm in love. Like, but they were just like, you know, they were constantly
kilig.
teasing me. No, in fact, before I even had before we were even a thing, I remember my parents being like, look, like this guy he's a good guy. He's the type of guy you should marry, you know, that sort of thing. So, because
I don't think we ever suggested you were quite ready yet, did we?
No,
It sounds illegal.
That's
Because I was
denying it.
just
So.
That's reverse psychology, Laura.
I think it's because I used to be very like superficial. You know, when you're like 16 and you just want, you know, six pack and like, you know, you go for that guy. And
Okay.
And
I
this
think
guy wasn't
boyfriend in
that.
college was a bodybuilder, so
Pardon?
No.
just kidding.
Really?
Anyway, so you were saying, Laura. So you were this giggly 16-year-old girl. Okay.
Yeah, and I just remember them sort of giving me the perspective of like, you know, don't go for that typical guy. Go for the one that's like actually like good material and like, you know, the husband material sort of thing. So they were never really like, it was never you can't have a boyfriend or anything like that. It was very liberal, which is why I made my decisions very carefully.
So did you have a curfew as well?
No, I just came home.
Even if you were out with your boyfriend? Were there any rules? You have to be home at a certain time. You can't go to this and that place.
Like,
You know, that's very Filipino. I wonder
that's
if
very
it's
Filipino.
cultural.
I feel like it's a big deal in the Philippines, but like we were friends before we were anything. So, and because our families were both friends, we had gone on holiday as two families together before he and I actually
So that's
became a
different.
thing. Yeah, so it was never really anything dramatic, like me bringing home a boy, because like we brought their family like to our place, the whole of us. So it was very relaxed.
Yeah, and
Okay.
also, Laura, the fact that you were at school was 45 minutes drive away. So it was normal to go and get you. You couldn't get home by yourself. So it was normal to go and get you. There was really no alternative. If you'd been here in Mühlhausen out somewhere and you could have walked home, then maybe that's different.
Yeah, so moral of the story, take your kids away from school so they don't act out.
Okay. So Kevin, did you
I want to share a story to Laura and to Kevin on a Filipino context because my daughters are not yet dating, but I think in a few years' time they will.
How
And I've
old are
been
they then?
discussing. Well, I have a 16-year-old, an incoming 16, 14, and a 12-year-old. So I've been sharing this to many of my friends, the older friends, and actually I got this from some of my friends. So the first time my daughter is going to go on a date, I'm not gonna talk to the boy. I mean, I'm gonna be civil to him. But in the dining room, I'm gonna take out my Glock 45, my Glock or my 45, and I'm just gonna start cleaning it. And then I'm gonna say, "All right, have a nice night. Please be home on time." That's all I'm gonna say. You think it's gonna work? Just kidding.
I think it
May-
probably is, yeah.
See, Daddy Kevin likes it.
I think
See?
your daughters are going to kill you.
No, but that's Filipino. Just kidding.
Okay.
My experience is that if you, am I allowed to say this? I guess I am. If you trust your children, like in any relationship, you trust somebody, you probably get trust back.
Yeah.
I trust my daughters. It's the guys that I don't trust. So
Yeah, I get that. I mean, I was fortunate. Laura got fairly hooked up on somebody for quite a long time, so I didn't have a lot of different issues to deal with. Just the same one over again.
Okay,
We-
Mayward Flyers. Yes, dodong po si Edward. Shout out from all the way from Jordan. Aba, okay.
Wow.
Benz Caldea watching from Bulacan. Ayayalani, Eriban, Jean Hover watching from Sultan Kudarat. That's all the way in Mindanao, Kevin and Laura. Susan Dumalag. Hello, Laura and Sir Kevin. Say Kai. Hi, Daddy Kevin and Laura. I'm watching here in Iloilo. Gracia de la Cruz watching from Aklan. Marvic Lesiones. Becca Amar, Mayward, hello. I'm watching here in Kuwait. May Kanda. This is a question for you, Laura. How was Edward with the boy who broke your heart? Was he protective? Did he know the guy?
interesting.
This
Yeah,
is the family friend, right?
He was actually very close. They were actually very close.
Mm.
And when this boy left the country, Edward cried.
Oh,
It was to
really?
that level that they were actually very good friends.
Mm.
But when things started to get a bit bad, like Edward, oh no, it was in the beginning, I think, when I was still being sort of courted. I mean, the
Yeah.
culture of courting isn't really a thing in Europe
Mm.
anymore. But when that was still happening, in my case, Edward was very like, oh, I'm going to start going to the gym. I'm going to, get really buff so I can like protect Laura. So he was always a bit like that. And bear in mind, he was what, 13, 14?
Yeah. 14,
At this
15
point?
maybe.
Yeah.
The follow-up question there
So he
would
was
be,
sweet.
Kevin,
He was
did you
sweet.
ever tell or guide Edward to be that? You watch out for your sister, be the second dad, or do you think it was natural? Do you have any influence in that?
I think there was a time, probably early teens, when that became. No, even before that. I think I did. It never really became necessary because we were always together. So it wasn't like I was away work-wise, but I was always coming home. But certainly when he got to be a teenager, I just don't think there was ever any need for him to sort of intervene on behalf of Laura, really, because that just worked. That just worked anyway. It became natural. And we can't forget that when he left the Philippines, he was still 15. In 2006, he was 15 when we left, expecting to come back a few weeks later. He never did. So, he was still very, very young when the family time here ended. And I'm sometimes forget that both of them are still so young as they are, because it seems like really a lot has happened in the last few years.
So how are you guys handling the distance? Well, between you and Laura, I don't know. Because in Nonong's case, Nong, do you want to talk about this when he was assigned in Cebu? Have you been to Cebu, Laura, Kevin?
Yeah, long time ago.
Okay, when he was in school and he was assigned to Cebu, which is an island in the Visayas, I think it improved his relationship with his mom, with his parents. Nong, you want to discuss that?
No, I think depending on relationships in general, but my mom was a typical Filipino mom who took care of us, as in every day brought us to school, very dedicated. And I think now I
Very
understand her,
hands-on, very
very
hands-on.
hands-on. So I understand her better now than before. That when you come of a certain age that you want to start flapping your wings, as Kevin said, all they want is your presence. They don't want a lot of being dictated on or whatever. Just being there and just being there when you need. And I think that I needed that physical distance so that I could actually be who I could be. Make my own decisions, and at the same time have when there was needed time to actually talk, then there's talk. And I think that's part of understanding stages in life. As a parent, I think we all need to change. And one of the things that I'm realizing is that you can never take it away that the image. I'm sure, Kevin, you're seeing Laura as this little baby, even if she's a lady already and she's independent. As a parent now, I understand because I'd always complain as an adult and saying, "Why are you treating me like a kid?" Precisely, a parent still sees you as this little angel, or it's difficult. It's difficult to change. It's difficult to accept that as a parent, and I sometimes have to remind myself, and I have many conversations with Jing that it's fast. That time is fast, and right before your eyes, they can just change, right? And I think what me and Jing tried to do was really when they were still dependent on you on the younger ages, we were there, okay. And now we're preparing for that time that they want their own independence, that they won't be as needy, and it's difficult. You have to remind yourself and shift, right? So that in my relationship with my mom, I just
So
realized that
the
distance
distance
and
gave you space, right, Nong?
yeah, and such that whenever you have conversations, it's quality time. It's 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 really spending quality time every time you have a chance to talk, because all the other little nitty gritties doesn't really matter. You don't want to waste time.
Okay.
And that was my experience of trying to, when I left the nest, so to speak.
So Kevin and Laura, did the distance help bring you closer, or did it help make the heart grow fonder, as they say? Laura, you first.
I don't think it really made a difference in our relationship because we've always been like I've always told him everything. So it's never been like there was anything to change, like I mean obviously it's different because I don't see him and he doesn't get the small talk and stuff. So like usually we'll talk like once a day. And it's so easy to forget as well when you don't see a person. It's easy to get busy and not be on your phone, and because the only way you have communication these days is through a screen. And like I try and stay away from my phone as much as possible, but because dad's on the other side of the world, I really have to try and be on my phone as much as I can. But I think that I don't know. I don't think it really made a difference in terms of our relationship, right?
Okay. How about you, Kevin?
We did have 3 years when you were at university, so that that prepared us for that distance. But
Oh, yeah,
the,
that's
the,
true.
the thing that has really stuck with me in the last 4 months is when I came back in January from the Philippines. That's the last time I was there. Was 16th of January. I left. The thought of being able to get to the 23rd of May without being with them was just not possible. You know, they will not survive without me, and I will not survive without them, and that's it. And then something comes along where you have to. You don't have any choice. And you learn a lot more, and you talk. When you talk a lot more appreciative of the time that you've got. And you realize, I think, also as a parent, that you know it's okay to say that you can't do everything and you don't know everything and you're not always strong. It's okay to say that, because kids are brought up believing that parents can do everything. Well, maybe we can't do everything sometimes. And that's what I've seen in the last few months, because I think the last time I was on with you, Jing, you said, will I be back out as soon as quarantine is over?
Yeah.
Well, there are flights are starting up. There will be a possibility to come out, but it's 2 weeks quarantine both ways. It's 20 hours in an airplane twice. I think we still have a fair way to go before this is under control. And it could easily be the rest of the year, which is sad. And Laura said to me a couple of weeks ago, when are you coming out again? And then we realized that the most important thing to do now is avoid any risks that we can avoid, because we've been through all this to make sure we're all safe and make sure we're all not putting ourselves in danger, because we need each other to be healthy. If any of us becomes unhealthy, then it makes this situation more difficult. So we're coping at the moment. It's not great, but we're coping, and that's why we'll manage another few months as well if we have to.
Okay, more Texas. Jan, Marie, Daddy Kevin, and Mommy Kathy are so cool. Susan Alcoy, watching all the way from Laguna. Susan Dumadag from Cebu. Rosaline Agapia. Hi Laura and Daddy Kevin, watching from Lebanon.
Wow.
Eileen Parala. Josephine Abayon, Camposano. I love the Barber family. Cesar Bono, Evelyn Lariosa. Thank you, Miss Jing, for having the Barbers. Nice conversation. I'll be forever a Mayward fan. Shouting out loud all the way here from Panama, Central America.
I want to visit there.
Alice Kachamko. Hi, Laura and Sir Kevin, watching from Singapore. Susan Dumadag. Laura, you're so beautiful. I agree, Laura, I agree. I love the Barber's family. Nelia Ikamen, watching from the Bahamas. Oh, you want to go to Bahamas? Mayward Rabelades. Para ang swerte ng mapapangasawa ni Edward at Laura. Laura, do you understand Filipino better than your daddy?
Oh, absolutely.
That's not difficult. That's not difficult.
Absolutely.
Pwede na natin siya pag-usapan, Diba, Laura?
Okay.
Just kidding.
So, Laura, you understood that? Parang ang swerte ng mapapangasawa ni Edward.
Sana.
I think if I wasn't here, she'd be fine speaking Tagalog.
Okay, Mean Sandawon, Daddy Nonong. Uy, napakabait din na ama. Oh, honey, this is for you.
Thank you.
Napakaswerte po ng mga anak nyo. Albert Basa, Coach Albert. Mayward, May Kanda. To Daddy Kevin, is there a moment where you scold your children? Oy, nice question. When do you get mad at your children?
You know what? He doesn't really. That's why when he gets mad, it's really bad.
Wow.
Yeah,
Has he ever been really mad at you, Laura?
Yeah, but I just don't remember when. Like, I remember being a kid and he would shout and it would just never happen. And I just remember instances in which he did, and you just know you really screwed up. Like,
oh, okay. So that's a good style, Kevin. That's a good style.
I did something really bad, and I didn't know it was really bad until like 2 or 3 years ago, when somebody talked about this thing happening, and it was really bad. And it was when you're driving and the kids are screaming in the back, and you just want them to be quiet and you want them to stop, and you say, if you don't stop now, I'm going to stop the car and you can get out.
oh, I should have just got out.
And I did that. I did that when she was quite young.
I remember it.
Was that the one you remember?
Yeah, open the door, get out. You get out. If you're not going to be quiet, you get out. You stay here. Like we were
How old
driving
were you
in
then,
the
Laura?
countryside, and I just said, "You go." And I shouldn't have done that. I'm sorry, Laura. That was not good parenting.
What? I thought that was brilliant. I would have done
Yeah,
it.
but
Like,
there's some psychologists said it damages you in some way. So I wish I
So
hadn't
you're
done it.
traumatized. Laura's
Yeah, so-
traumatized.
like, no, the only ill effect I have from that is regret that I didn't just get out of the car and see what you'd have done.
Yeah,
Like,
okay.
I think about this and I wish I just got out the car.
How old were you then? Do you remember, Laura? How old were you then?
Oh, I was still in a car seat at that point. I must have been really little.
Very small. Very small.
So there's
Okay,
no
Laura,
violence.
we'll try it
against
next time,
children.
okay?
Okay, next, Sai Hernandez, watching from Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, Tokneng Bunyi. Salute, Daddy K and Mommy C. Napalaki niya ng tama ang mga anak nila. You wanna translate that for Kevin, Laura?
Ano daw po?
Salute, Daddy Kevin and Mommy Kathy. Napalaki nila ng tama ang mga anak nila. From Tokneng Bunyi.
Like, we're righteous.
It said I was the most wonderful man in the world, and you just need to tell me that, all right? Thank you.
Come on, give in, Laura.
I can't see the comment.
Okay, they're saying congratulations to both of you, Mommy Kathy and Daddy Kevin.
Thank you.
Okay.
Salamat.
Nalin C. As a parent, was there a time or situation that you were surprised that from what your children did and learned from it? From Nalin C. A time or situation that you were surprised about what your children did and learned from it?
It's a good question.
It is a very good question, and saying it's a very good question is the normal way for, gaining time to answer the question. I can only remember the one immediately, and that was when Edward was smaller. Right? Edward came home he was in a kindergarten which was half English speaking, half Dutch speaking. So there was one English teacher, one Dutch teacher, and they split for the classes. And then he brought this friend home, and I was sitting in my office where I'm sitting now, and they were playing outside in the sort of area outside of my room, and I heard two Dutch children
We
speaking to
have
each
that
other. I said,
recorded somewhere.
Edward, I thought you only brought one friend home. He said, yes, I did. What's the problem? I said, well, I can hear two people speaking Dutch, and he was one of them. And we didn't realize that he just picked it up. And to me, it just showed how young people can absorb so much more if you give them the chance. And even with Laura's very good with languages, and there's just so much more potential in young people than some of us old ones actually believe.
I agree.
That's the only thing that comes to mind at the moment. Daddy Kevin, I wish you could learn Tagalog too. Yes, so do I. I have it on my phone.
We should have Tagalog lessons with Daddy Kevin.
Yes.
Give him a word every or a sentence or something.
Yes.
Now that could be fun. That could be a bestseller.
Donna Kirong. Hi, Laura and Daddy Kevin, watching from Lano del Norte. Evelyn Quinquero. Ang ganda ni Laura. Laura, of course,
Thank
understood
you.
that. Mercy Marpuri. Thank you, Barber family, for loving Maymay. Mayward family forever. So Maymay is like a second daughter. Right, Kevin?
I think so, yeah. But I mean, you can't adopt people, can you, very easily, yeah? So, no, I mean, obviously Maymay's been around all this time, right from the beginning. First time I ever met her was on PBB, and we both lost an important person in our family within 2 or 3 days of each other. So from that point, we were very close right at the beginning before anything was really obvious to the rest of the world. Close as a family.
So the few times I've talked to Maymay, she would always rave about how you've been like a second dad to her. Is there anything different with the way you're treating Maymay or trying to help her come to terms with life, etc., compared to the way you were with your own children?
Yeah, it's. I can't speak Tagalog, and my English is great when you have a conversation face to face. It's not so easy for us to communicate on the phone or from a distance, so we don't communicate quite as much at the moment. When we're together, we communicate very well. And no, I don't think there was. Obviously, my daughter is the one that I want to protect, because she's my daughter. She's my little daughter, and she's the one that my role is to protect. Maymay is the same age, but Maymay has been in charge of her life since she was very small. So she doesn't need that sort of protection. I just always felt that, if you want to have somebody to lean on, you want guidance, you want somebody to give you an opinion, then that's what I'm there for. It's always nice to have somebody you can depend on, but it's much nicer if you don't have to be dependent on them. Yeah. So if you've just got, I'm always there. I'm always there if she needs me. But to be honest, that's the way I look on life. If people need anything, then tell me, and I'm happy to help, because that's me.
So you prefer, Kevin, as a parent, you prefer that your children ask you for advice, for help, etc., instead of forcing yourself to?
Yes. And I think now I'm lucky, because now I don't have to worry about that. They will ask me. There's been times in the past when if Edward hasn't messaged me during this crazy 3 or 4 years that he's had, if he hasn't messaged me, I worry. Now I don't worry so much, because I know that if he has a situation, he will message me. And as I say, with Laura, I think it's pretty difficult not to know what's going on in Laura's life, because if she goes quiet, then I find out and realize. And normally she's fairly open about ups and downs in her life.
Yeah, I kind of.
Every now and again there's a sort of dad, and I think the way she wrote that dad is not good. Somebody's done something, or somebody's disappointed her, or there's a massive cockroach or something.
How about you,
No.
Laura?
I'm really just an open book. I just tell people I have no secrets. Like mom and dad and Edward, they know everything, as in everything. Like I never hid anything.
Yeah,
So
you try sometimes, but after a few minutes you can't anymore.
Yeah, no, it's not even that I'm a bad liar. I am a bad liar, but it's not that. It's just that, when your family is just like, you're so close to your family, you just, whatever it is, you just tell them. I met this boy, even if it's like, oh, I met this boy in salsa class, or whatever it was. It was just like, I just told him. It was gossip. And my, like with my mom as well, not so much with dad, but with mom, it was like, oh my goodness, there's this cute boy. Screenshot, sent to mom,
That's so cute. Is it more you, or is it more the culture of your family because of what your parents brought in? Or is it a combination?
I'm definitely like, I'm much more like that than Edward is. Edward's a bit more closed in that way. Like he doesn't. I mean, when Edward comes to me and he tells me something, and like comes to me for advice, I'll be like, oh, why don't you ask this person or this person? And he'll be like, I already did, Laura. You're the last one. So he's the opposite. I think I'm just like that. I've always been a bit of a weirdo compared to like my friends. Like I just tell people anything, which well, I mean, I keep my circle very small, but those people they hear everything,
Yeah, the frustrating thing is this. Nonong, I don't know whether it's the same with you, but your daughter comes to you and she confides in you, and she says this or this or this, but you have to promise me, Dad, you don't tell Mom, okay? And don't tell me.
Good question.
This is just you and me. You don't tell Mom. So like 6 months later, I still haven't told anybody. And then it comes up, and my wife says, gosh, I've known that for ages. Because she'll tell me not to tell Mom, but she won't tell me when it's okay to tell Mom. Like 5 minutes later.
So what's the husband and wife agreement and things like that? Because Laura, you're a lot older now, but I think these are parenting styles, because Jay and I, when we got married, the agreement was we don't keep secrets. So I know there are secrets between a dad and a daughter, but I think it hasn't come to us yet, but I think it would be difficult for me not to tell my wife whatever my daughter tells us. So, was that something you agreed with your wife?
No, it wasn't, and to me that's a difficult one, because I would normally say to Laura, if Laura comes, whoever it is, comes to me and says, "I'm going to tell you something, but you can't tell somebody else."
You keep
As
you
in,
you
either
you
I have to
you take
decide.
it seriously, yeah.
Do I not tell? If I accept the information on the basis that I won't, then I can't tell.
Yeah.
If
Or
I
unless you become
have
upfront and
arrangement,
say,
look,
I
I'm sorry, I'm going to share with
can't
mom
not
whatever
tell
you
to my
tell me.
wife.
Sorry, lost you.
I mean, unless you openly declare to your children that no, you know that I'm an open book to your mom. So
Mm.
if I'll keep it, but if it needs your mom's attention, then I guess it's just a matter of. But yeah, I mean,
I should probably have listened to you 20 years ago.
so
I like
it's
that.
very difficult.
No,
I
but
like that.
Laura, when would you request that of your mom or of your dad?
Maybe that information should not be disclosed in public.
Okay, I thought you were just searching for words, but okay.
So Kevin, no, how did it feel? Was it something you were itching to tell your wife or something like?
No. I mean, we come from two very different backgrounds, and my wife grew up in the Philippines, and I grew up here. And when you have different cultures in a family, then inevitably there are differences in the way you see things. Huh? And they have led to us being in the situation that we're in, and they've led to these two wonderful kids who I'm very proud of. But of course, then there are considerations. What language are you doing it in? If you're doing it in something which needs to be discussed really, really deeply in English, then it's more likely to come to me, because I've been speaking this for 150 years rather than my wife, who's been living here for 20 years. Yeah. And because we spoke English at home and the kids were educated in English, if it was deep, heavy stuff which was going to result in discussion, I think they would probably come to me. Was I itching to tell my wife? If it was of relevance to us as a family, then yes. If it was just a bit of gossip, then honestly, no.
Okay,
Because I
okay.
feel that everybody needs somebody that they can confide in without it not going anywhere else.
But I
I'm sure
wonder.
my daughters have secrets with my wife. They always talk, and I'm always out of it. So
I'm
No, we
sure
don't
it
have
was the other way
secrets.
around.
No secrets, honey. No secrets. But I wonder if your wife, if Kathy feels guilty as well, Kevin, whenever she keeps things from you.
She doesn't. Whenever I tell her something and I'm like, don't tell dad, she will tell dad.
maybe it's a Filipino thing.
Yeah, probably.
Like, that's
It's
how it worked. I would tell dad first and be like, don't tell mom. Then I tell mom. Mom would tell dad and he'd be like, oh, I already know.
So you
that's
actually
true.
do that. You go to
Yeah.
your dad and say, "I'll tell you this information, but keep it to yourself," and then you'll tell your mom the same thing.
Yeah. But then
Oh,
mom will
that's
tell me.
interesting.
Okay, before we wrap up, May Kanda, Laura, I'm really hoping you can show your cooking video soon. You have cooking videos, Laura? You cook?
So, so I cook. I never did before when I was young because mom was very hands-on in that way. But I went to university and I learned to cook there. But now I'm like super into baking, especially I've always been into baking, but especially now in the quarantine when there's an oven and there's so much potential for a small kitchen when you're just stuck in it. I filmed a video.
Ooh.
It's on its way. The only thing is, while I was editing the video, I edited it. I played it in front of my mom and my brother, realized that I forgot to tell them the ingredients. I went through the whole video without actually stating the ingredients.
Oh my god. So it's a guessing game.
No, I put like a little description in. So it's the most amateur video because I'm not really a baker and I'm not like photographer or, you know, a video maker. So it's very amateur, but it is on its way.
Question is, does it taste good? What did you make anyway?
I'll disclose that privately. Surprise.
Okay,
You have to
I don't want
send
to
us
try it.
some.
Yes. I go to the
It was good.
network, so I'll drop by and try it.
Okay.
Oh, can you see Kevin's face right now? You can't get any. So
So I'm going to go down and put something in the microwave. Okay.
Okay. Oh, guys. Before we wrap up, any message to your fans and to families who are experiencing what you're going through, the distance, especially with the quarantine, with the COVID-19. We have a lot of OFWs out there. They want to be with their family. They want to be with their children. And have you what are your learnings from being away with each other? And yet I can see, and I guess everyone can feel that the closeness is still there, that the love is still there despite the distance.
I think for me, when I was still in university and Edward and Mom were already in the Philippines and Dad was in Germany, that was like the most sort of scattered we've ever been. And at that point, I remember Mom saying to me, I think one night I got sad that we were all apart. And it hits me. It does. Because like, especially when you spend too much time on social media and you see what other people are doing and you see other people sort of coming back into the homes that they're supposed to be in and spending time with their families, like board games, all of that. Like, it does hit you. But I remember Mom texting. Mom doesn't get emotional very often. She doesn't. But I remember once she texted me and she said, Laura, like, just because we have distance between us at the moment doesn't mean that we are not a family. And that, like, because it's so rare for Mom for her to get all mushy and stuff, it really sort of like, it really like sat with me. And now that whenever I get upset, like, it still plays back in my head, you know, like, no matter the distance, you're still a family and nothing can break that. So I think for all of you who are out there and going through the same thing and not being able to be with your family, not being able to be with your kids, like, don't forget that, you know, nothing can ever change the relationship you have. Nothing can ever break the bond that you have, even if you haven't been there to raise your children, because I know a lot of OFWs are out there and haven't been able to be with their kids every step of the way. At the end of the day, that you are still family, you are still their parent, and the love that is there will never be broken just because of distance. So that's for me.
Well said, Kevin.
I don't think I can beat that. We should really finish on that.
yeah,
I mean, I'm an OFW. I mean, a couple of times I actually went into Naiya and they stamped me balik bayan because my wife was a Filipina, so I got the balik bayan stamp in my passport. And I'm an overseas foreign worker. I'm overseas. I'm foreign, and I'm working. So I in that way, I feel a little bit of identification with
Your sense of humor is improving, Kevin.
That means it was bad.
Yes.
And before all this started, I really thought I appreciated the health service, all the doctors and the nurses and the public service people, the bus drivers and the people who bring the letters and the people who clean the streets. I thought I was very sensitive to how important they were. I was nowhere near sensitive enough and appreciative enough of all these people. And I have contact, and you know, obviously I'm visible, and there's a lot of people message me, and some of them I know, and I know nurses working in hospitals and doctors working in hospitals who are treating COVID patients and going home at night. And to all of you in different countries, I mean, look, Bahamas, Singapore, Panama City, the number of countries you read out from, all of you that are out there doing what Laura said for your family and taking care, a lot of you taking care of people in the most difficult of circumstances. You know, Ceci in the US, Queenie in Sweden, all the people that have been part of the fandom for a long, long time. There's a lot of people out there who are actually taking so much more risks than I take every day. I've shut myself up. I'm not going out. it's so easy for me to do this. It's not nice, but it's so easy. And to everybody who is taking care of people and taking care of this world and trying to fix the problem, God bless you. Thank you very, very much. I can cope with this if you can cope with yours. So, God bless you all.
No.
It's been a pleasure talking to Kevin, to Laura. What you said, it's hard to top. I think all I want to think about right now is that, in a way, COVID has actually brought us closer. It talks about humanity, that we're all the same. We're all affected by this, but at the same time, we cannot. I don't want to focus too much on the negatives. I think finding the silver lining or finding what's good in what's happening. I think there's a bigger meaning to all of this that we need to just go. If you just look at the skyline, I think the air is much cleaner. I think the rat race of trying to get ahead, you realize that does it really matter? What are the most essential things that are important in one's life? I think we have been given a chance to rethink a lot of the things that we just took for as is. And as we talk about the new normal, talking like this, we are forced to embrace certain technologies. So I just want that let's be more positive. Okay, that as a human race, not just individuals, there's something that's going to be good. Um, I was being stuck at home gives you a lot of chance to think and reflect because you're just kept there. And I was trying to think of my grandfather because my family members just gave some photos, and they were the ones who really was part of a war. World War II, World War One.
Yeah.
And you can think of it that we are in a war situation.
Yeah.
And one thing about humanity is that we go through this, and we hope to get out of it wiser, better, more loving, and so on and so forth. So to all the Filipinos and non-Filipinos who are watching, let's help one another. Let's keep the faith and love one another. Remember that we're family. I agree with Laura.
Okay.
And I think at the moment, these days, if we can't be nice to each and every one of us, we never will be.
Yeah.
If you can't be kind at this time of life, you haven't understood how the world works. So let's be kind. And I finally got to meet Nonong.
You haven't met Nonong?
No.
Really?
So this is my.
We saw each other in the coffee shop, but
we did very, very briefly. But this was a conversation. Yeah.
So is he Zoom-genic? He's better looking via Zoom.
I don't remember him well enough personally.
I don't really mind Kevin's answer, so it's okay.
Okay, I'll ask Laura. Laura, if there's photogenic and telegenic, is Nonong Zoom-genic?
Of course, yes.
Sure, of course.
Okay. Well trained, Laura. Well
I
trained.
have to
Kevin.
you message. I look like your dad, so it compliments Kevin as well. So
Okay, I'll just run through some other messages from May Kanda. I love this whole conversation. I learned a lot, especially when it comes to how great the Barber family is. God bless you all. May Ann Sandakan, thank you so much. Sobrang nag-enjoy po ako sa topic. Ang dami kong natutunan. So she's saying, Kevin, she learned a lot sa episode na to. Thank you. Miss Jing, Daddy Nonong, Daddy Kevin, and beautiful Laura. Good night and God bless. Dida C, thanks for the nice conversation. God bless. Keep safe. Thank you for being an inspiration. Okay, I think, I read those last 2-3 messages because they summarize what we've been trying to do, especially Kevin. No? And personally, I'm really so impressed and thankful to your family. Most of the time when we see celebrity families, we just talk about them because they're popular and because they look good. but
well, you don't have that reason to talk to me, do you?
But that's what's so amazing about your family is that you're beautiful inside out, and you're really an inspiration. And that's what, to me, that's what popularity is all about. The Lord gave you that blessing so that you'll be a blessing also to others by inspiring others and by showing them that it is possible. No? Given no matter how challenging the world is, or no matter how challenging life is, it is possible to keep love and in the family, and again, in your case, despite the distance. So thank you for finding time. I got to know you guys even more, and I'm even more amazed and impressed by that kind of people, the kinds of people that you are. So thank you. And Kevin, really
Thank you,
hats
Mami
off
Jing.
to you. Hats off to you. Laura, you have to make us try whatever it is you baked.
I will.
You just send the best way to do this. You send out the video, and you ask people to guess what the ingredients are.
And if they guess it right, then you're supposed to give them a bite.
Yeah, we can work out a nice prize for that.
Mm-hmm. Oh, we should talk, Laura, whenever I drop by ABS. We should talk because you're just
Okay.
like within the area. So
This
All right,
is going to
thank
be
you.
over, and we will talk a lot more, and we're going to eat a lot more
Oh,
and
keep
enjoy.
safe, guys. Okay. Mayward
Sure.
Rebeladis, Angel Faith, Jeng Bustos, Faye Guarin. Ayan, they're all saying goodbye and good night. So thank you. Kevin, hope to see you soon physically here, but otherwise, let's
I
continue
hope
doing
so.
this. Let's continue doing this.
Love to. Yeah, I wasn't expecting 1 hour 51 minutes. Laura asked me
Me
how long.
too.
I didn't expect 1 hour 51 minutes.
Sorry,
But I
It was
guys.
fun,
really,
right?
But
no,
It
it's
was
great. It's
fun.
wonderful. It's just like being in the living room, and I'm really glad
yeah.
the technology means that I don't have to close down tonight. Okay.
Sorry,
All
Laura. Did
right.
you have a prayer meeting or something? But
No, I'm good. Not tonight.
okay.
Okay.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Bye,
Yeah.
guys.
Bye,
Ingat.
Jing. Bye, Nonong. Bye,
Bye-bye.
Laura.
Bye-bye.
Thank you,
Bye.
guys.
Bye.
Bye. Bye, guys. Oh, I hope you enjoyed it, ha? We got to know the Barber family more. And ako mismo po, mas nakilala ko sila, mas bumilib ako sa kanila. Thank you for all of those who sent your questions, your inputs. Thank you for engaging. Thank you for conversing. And kita-meet nyo rin yung aking daddy Nonong, ha? Si husband Nonong. Ayan. So, in the coming days, we'll have more of these conversations with our celebrities para mas makilala po natin sila, para mas, kuminsan nga po, no, tulad ng binanggit ko kanina, minsan face value lang syempre, no, kasi napapanood nyo kami sa TV, lalo na yung mga artista. But of course, there's more to them, diba? There's more to us than meets the eye, than what you see on cam. Lalo na po sa mga artistang ito, no, kasi mas maganda pong mas makilala natin sila para mas lumalim po yung ating paghanga sa kanila. Ayun. So, tomorrow, 4 in the afternoon, kita-kita po tayo dito sa Facebook, pero sa teleradyo rin, ang atin pong paksa for Kapamilya Connect, mga guidelines sa mga mall. Ayan. Kasi, syempre, pagkakaroon na po na naman ng pagbabago, naghahanda tayo sa general quarantine. May marami pong mga pagbabago, mga guidelines ang mga mall. So, bukas, 4 in the afternoon, abangan po natin yan. Okay? So again, please share, please like, please follow my social media accounts. Ito pong pagkikwentuhan natin ito, marami po tayong natutunan ukol sa pamilya, ukol sa pagmamahal, ukol sa relasyon, no, ng mga tatay sa kanilang mga anak. So please share po this post para naman po mas marami pong makasama sa ating kwentuhan. Again, sa mga usapang pampamilya, Mami Jing ang gabay. Bye! Good night! Ingat po!